What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Bittersweet Podcast. It's your girl Wintana.
And I'm Rahel.
And we have a special guest on the episode today. We have fitness coach Amina Naser. How are you?
I'm feeling great, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. There's so much to how we met, and I feel like I remember I did an episode about me getting into like my fitness girl era, and I was like, fitness is cute, and you were like my introduction into actually, not into fitness altogether, but like actually, enjoying it and getting into classes and doing all of that stuff. Because after COVID, I was just out of it.
Tell me about it.
But tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so I am a fitness coach. I'm also a retired taekwondo athlete, and I'm also a youth worker. That's kind of taking a backseat at the moment.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, I've been a coach ever since I was 16 on and off.
Yeah.
But now I'm fully committed to it, and I'm so happy to hear that when you came to the classes, that was when you really got into actually enjoying it.
I was obsessed with it, and obviously now I've fallen off the bandwagon,
okay.
but I'm coming back, Amina.
Yes, I'm waiting for your comeback.
Honestly, I'm coming back. It's gonna be and I can't wait to see your new studio. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's huge. Like, just to see how you've gone from, running classes in Truganina and then like north as well in Reservoir, and just like how you've built yourself. It's so inspiring to see that. And then now you have your own studio. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I still can't believe it's real. Maybe next week when we actually start classes there, I'll believe it. But it feels amazing. I started in my garage at the end of 2021, which is when we were just getting out of lockdown.
Yeah.
So from that to be able to open up my own studio, it really feels so amazing.
It's
exciting.
I'm so happy for you, honestly.
Thank you so much.
And I'm shattered that I'm missing the opening.
It's okay. We're gonna have it's gonna be recorded, so hopefully
I'll be like watching online. Yeah.
But don't worry, you'll get to come when everything's happening.
All set up and
it's
stuff.
all set up. You just come and you just
What's
get
the
started.
plan for the opening?
So we're gonna have 2 sessions, and basically we're gonna do some games. We're gonna have some Q&A segment so people can actually ask questions. And food, music, just good vibes. Just a chance for people to see what we're about, get a bit of a snippet, and just everyone to meet everyone. So.
Are the games like, they're not fitness games?
A little bit.
That's what I know. She always
we're doing tug of war, which is
that's fun.
Oh my
that's
god,
fun.
tug of war.
But then we're gonna do a push-up challenge and a plank challenge.
Yeah,
but the winners get really good prizes, so I think it's worth it. I feel like at least you're getting something.
At least you're getting something. But do you know one thing Amina will do in her classes? It'll be the very end, and like not a lot of the times, but sometimes I'm just looking at the time. I'm really looking for that 8:30, whatever it is, and you think you've just done the last round of whatever it is, the last circuit, and she's like, "All right, guys, just one more fun exercise," and you're thinking every time she says that one more fun, it's the hardest one.
Yeah, I remember at school we had to do this like fucking like 20-something kilometer hike, and my teacher, he kept on being like, just around the corner, just around the corner, just around the corner, and I was like, every corner we would go past. I'm like,
it makes it
evil.
worse.
It's worse.
Yes, it is. Look,
is it something to get people to keep going? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's just a psychological trick that we do on you, because I feel like if you don't know, if you think you're at the end, you're going to give it your all, and then like we just say like one more thing, and then you have that little bit of energy and you do it. It's just a way to get people to just stay hang in there, And I always use the word fun, but everyone tells me it's never.
It's not fun. It's like the hardest. Oh my god!
I just
and
say
I know.
it to, like hopefully you believe it, but never.
We know now, but like the new people
the
probably
truth is out.
Like,
just
don't tell them every time. I'm like putting you on blast.
Yeah.
All right, so before we're going to get into the conversation, we like to play a little game on Bittersweet.
Exciting.
So this game is called Win or Bin.
Okay.
And basically the rules are really simple. If you agree, it's a win. If you disagree, it's a bin. Okay. So we're going to give you 3 different scenarios.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm scared.
The first scenario is taking someone back after cheating. Is that a win or a bin?
It's so hard. I want to say bin straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, it's bin.
It's bin?
For me, it's bin. Like, I understand how some... I know for some people, like, yeah, no judgment to others, that because I see a lot of situations where people do get back together, but for me, trust is so important, and I just don't think I could get over it personally.
Yeah.
Like, even if, no.
Like it's always going to be playing in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Definitely been.
Yeah. What about you, Rahel? You know I was going to come to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this a little bit to you.
We're not been. It depends on the situation. Like if it's how intense is the cheating? Like, is it some like emotional affair situation? Like, have you been texting behind my back and like, are you saying I love you?
Oh, yeah.
You know, or was it just like a physical thing? If it happened in a new relationship, it's a bin, like straight up, because it's like, bitch.
Yeah.
It's like,
come
been
on
2
now.
seconds.
This is like, you're
know
supposed to be at your peak at this point.
Literally, it's like, it's only going to be downhill from here.
True.
But if it's long term, maybe you've got kids, maybe, you know, like there's other factors, like 10 years in, it's like not that simple.
Yeah.
But also, like, I just can't picture in the situation, it's not that, I don't know how I would react, because it would really disgust me if someone.
No, I agree.
cheated
It's
on me.
not black and white. Like it's hard because I can't bounce back from that. Like when I see, I'm just always going to be thinking. I feel like it'll change the way that I move in the relationship. Like I'll be really paranoid, or I'll just be always thinking the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you're like a few kids in and you've been married or whatever it is, and to start again is kind of hard. But I'm gonna go with the bin as well.
Yeah.
Bin, 3 bins.
3
Okay.
bins.
Next question's a bit more light. Group holidays. Is that a win or a bin?
That's so tricky. I think it's a win, but it depends on the group, and it depends how big it is. Because I think the bigger the group, the trickier it gets, because not everyone's gonna want to do the exact same thing every minute of every day, and that's when it gets a bit messy. But I think win. But you know what? I don't think I've ever been on a big group holiday, so I can't.
What's the max you've been?
Oh, actually, well, does like family count? Because we're a
Family.
big
I feel like family's different. Different, yeah.
Oh, the biggest has been like 3 of us, so that's not really.
That's
a
okay.
big group.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like any bigger, I don't know. I'd have to try it before I would say win for now, because I haven't really tried it and had a bad experience.
If you were in a big group, do you expect everyone to do all the activities, or are you okay if you all went together and then some people were like, actually, I'm not going to do that?
I am so fine with that, because I'm the annoying person on the holiday that's up early and wanting to go.
You're going on hikes and stuff, aren't
Literally.
you? You're just
I don't want to waste a minute. Like you won't catch me in that hotel room unless I am like sleeping.
That stresses me out.
Yeah.
That should be.
It depends what kind of holiday. Like if we go and it's a relaxing holiday, like me and Az went last year to Hamilton Island, and we just kind of
chilled.
It was for us to chill. So I was fine chilling.
Yeah.
And then it was really like, you know, beach walks, and it wasn't crazy. But if I'm going across the world, spending all that money, best believe from the crack of dawn, I'm out exploring.
You need to see every dollar that needs to be spent.
That is me. So I don't expect everyone to see that, because I know that not everyone's like that. So I'll happily do it by myself.
Okay.
And then join with the group later on. I'm good with that. So I'll say win, because you can make it work. If everyone's flexible, you can make it work. Yeah.
I agree. I'm like, the thing is, I like doing things on holiday, but I don't want to be like, if we have to go, if we miss something that we've planned, then we missed it. Yeah. I'm okay with it, because I don't want you being like, it starts at 4:00. Let's go. Like, I'm already a late person. Yeah. Day to day, I have to be early. Yeah. I want to be chilling on my holiday.
Fair enough.
So I feel like, I remember when we were in Italy,
I'm like so
and
triggered.
they all went to, she's so triggered, because we were going for breakfast, and they were just like, let's go. Like, it was like, why are we rushing out the house? We didn't make a reservation, nothing. So I'm like, go without me. I will walk behind you guys and take my time.
Yeah, but it's like, communicate that. You know what I mean? This is the beep. It's like literally just be like, guys, just go. You know, like, you didn't say that. Because so it's like, I'm the type of person naturally, like, I'll wait, because I want us all to go together. If we're on holiday, like, let's holiday together. I don't want to like why would you separate, you know?
Yeah.
Unless I'm told, like, just go.
Yeah.
So yeah, bitch.
But
say
I
it.
can't commute because the thing is, for me, I don't see the urgency.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm like, why would I communicate it? We can all just go together. And then when I realize, okay, it's become a big deal.
Yeah.
Now it's like, just go.
Yeah. So do you see the toxic one in this situation?
Yeah. How big was the group?
It was too big.
It was too big. It was
There
too
was like
big,
six
and it
of
was
us.
the thing is, it was like too many different people from like
it wasn't good.
we weren't one group. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, it's like sisters and friends and coming together.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So it got a bit like a
It's
bit
of a horror
tricky.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the most beautiful place, and it was just like everyone was in such a bad mood.
Oh, just imagining it. That's so funny.
It
Yeah,
was-
I can
yeah.
see. Yeah, I can see how that can be so hard.
It can be stressful. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
know,
why
and,
people
like-
always say you need to say like what type of traveler are you?
Yeah.
Like, are you the type that's like up and go, or
Yeah.
do you like to take your time, or are you happy to separate, or
Yeah.
do you want to stay together? Like, I think or how much money do you want to spend? Do you
Yeah,
want to
that's
be
a big
cheap
one
or
too.
whatever?
Those
You need
are
to have those
important
conversations.
questions.
Yeah.
so
That's
many
a good point,
questions. It's
yeah.
like if you don't really, I feel like it's like that when you're not really, really close. If that makes sense. I mean, even if you are not close, but I feel like, even if you are close, but you kind of know each other at that point.
Yeah.
So there's less, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, last one is being friends with your colleagues. Is that a win or a bin?
It's a win for me, and it just depends. Like, it depends how, like, is the workplace toxic? Like, I've been in situations where over my dead body would I befriend these people, not on social media, not on anything. Yeah. But then, like, other workplaces, it's been very chilled, and it's like, and I've been fine. Like, I've actually built nice friendships with those people. So I think it depends on the actual, like, workplace culture. I feel like that plays a big role.
100%.
And the actual people, yeah.
It's the people too. I've never really had a workplace where I was like, I would see you, like we could be friends after this or outside of work, until like recently, and it made such a difference. Like, it's the culture, and I'm like, oh, you guys are actually cool people. Like, if you had a birthday dinner and you want to go out, I would come to that. You know, but previously it was a big no. It was just like, and maybe it was like an age thing as well.
True.
But I found it really uncomfortable when people would try to follow me on social media and we weren't really friends like that. And I don't know, I just don't really mix work and friendship. Until like now I'm like, I can see it happening because the people I work with are cool. But
Yeah, I feel like it obviously depends on. In general, I think it's a win, but also you need to be careful with work friendships because shit can get like weird and competitive.
It can go left.
I
really
can never
quickly.
work with a friend.
True.
Like, I remember.
What do you mean we work together?
No. I mean like. I mean like. In like a corporate setting, like a big company, like just say we were in competing like positions,
like something that
we're working together,
own,
to do our own thing. But if it's like, just say we're working in a somewhere.
No, I get you. When it's like, you're not, this is like our own thing, but you're talking about working for like working somewhere else. Yeah,
I think that would.
Why?
Just be, like,
do you feel
really
like you'd be
awkward.
competing with them?
I think like that sort of like natural, that can naturally come up. That dynamic comes about pretty easily. And also I think like you realize their annoying characteristics easier because they like come out and work and stuff like that. So I would like to make friends with the people I work with, but I wouldn't want to work with my friends.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's just, I've just heard too many like horror stories
of people that work together. That's crazy. I've never really, because I don't see it as like, I don't see a workplace as, it's not, I'm not passionate about this company, right? Maybe in the industry I work in. So for me, it's never been like...
But if you're passionate about your progression in general...
In the workplace, I guess so. Maybe because I've never been in that position where I was like, this is my pride and joy.
Yeah.
So I didn't really... It was like, I'll do the job, but I wasn't going to... I'm not going to compete with you to do the job. I'll just do my role. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I see it, but it's different. Anyways, that's the end of the game. We're going to move on to just talking about you and what you're doing. We wanted to start off by asking you to talk to us about your journey. You know, like we were talking earlier, you're a fitness coach now, but you have traveled the world, you know, competing taekwondo. You've done a lot. And I feel like there's just there's so much there. So how did you get into it? What was your introduction to sport?
So I've always been that kid that was bouncing off the walls and just active, always kicking a ball, doing something. So my parents put me in taekwondo when I was 8. So I was fairly young and I loved it. Like I had my first competition then as well. They put us in and I won my first gold medal and I just loved it from then. So I was really young. So I did that for a little while and then we moved overseas. So I moved on to karate and then soccer. And loved that as well.
Where did you move
We
to?
moved to Saudi Arabia. My dad got a job there, so we all moved over there.
How long were you there for?
3 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So we lived there, and that's where I did karate. So I did karate over there. I still enjoyed it, but I liked taekwondo a lot more. And then I fell in love with soccer over there. We would play like with all the kids outside. So I was doing that like every single day and loved it so much. So I love soccer, and when we moved back, I joined a soccer club over here and played soccer. And I always I thought about taekwondo, but I never really had that push to go there. And then they got someone from the local taekwondo club to come to our high school, and you know how they do those introductory sessions.
Oh my god, the taekwondo! Do you know I was gonna say this? I'm like, I did taekwondo for
Wow.
I did
Whenever
it for
someone has that reaction, it's like you either love it.
No, the
or
thing is,
you-
I really liked it. I did it
Really?
for I got up to yellow belt three stripes.
Okay, that's pretty good.
She was ranking up, you know.
Yeah,
but then
you're getting there.
basically, my sister was playing piano. She started playing the piano at the same
Yeah.
time. So the classes that I had to go to in the morning, she was prioritized over me, basically. So they just said so it was really sad. But I don't know if I would have gotten far. I did like it,
Probably
but I'm
would've.
not a sporty girl right now, so probably not.
No, you probably could have. That was probably your
That
sport.
was my calling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
your
what
calling,
happened.
and
And
now
now
you-
I've
that-
come back to you to
Yeah,
a whole
exactly, to
But no, it's
finish
funny
it
that you
off.
said that because I always have that memory of playing taekwondo as a
Wow.
kid.
Yeah, I loved it. And when they came to my school, I was kicking, and I was like, oh my god, why did I ever stop? And I straight away went back to that club, and that actually was the club that I went to when I was 8 years old. So it was full
wow.
circle.
Yeah.
And I actually still had all my old certificates and belts, so I just continued where I left off, got my black belt pretty quickly after
Wow.
that, and then started competing as well. And then at 16, they asked me to start coaching the women's only classes, and I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my god, I'm way too young."
So at
way
16 you had your
too
black
inexperienced.
you were a black belt.
Yeah, as soon as I was a black belt, they're like, "We need a coach to run these classes," and I was like, "I can't do it. I'm way
Yeah.
too young. I'm not experienced enough." And that was probably true,
Yeah.
but they just needed someone, and I think they might have been desperate, so I was pushed into
No,
the role.
but also you might. It's obviously
but
you
it
were
was
really
meant
good
to be
too.
because I loved it so much, and I was so surprised that I actually got a good response from everyone. People women so much older than me were coming up to me and saying, "Yeah, that was a great class, thank you," and and I was so surprised. But I really loved it, and I realized that not only do I love doing it myself, but I love being able to coach others and see how it can empower them. That was just a whole other feeling of,
Empowering them outside of sport. What else did you see outside of playing the sport? Was it
was
a
just
confidence build for them?
confidence builder for them. I feel like a lot of the time people come into it and we see a lot of mothers that must be so busy and it's never about them, but in that hour it is all about them, and they can just take that time away from their families and just fully commit and work on themselves. And that was really nice, just seeing them achieve their goals, whether it be them getting their black belt at school, losing some weight or getting stronger, and that's just so amazing to be a part of and to see the journey. And I really enjoyed that. So that's kind of
where it started.
where it all started, where I was like, I really love coaching, and
And now, you're amazing at it. You're seeing now how much your classes have progressed from where it started to now. And you know what's so interesting? There was one of the girls, I'm not going to say her name, but she was saying the same thing, how she was she's a mom, and she's this is the one, literally this is the 1 hour that I get that's just for me, and I want to keep going. And I'm it's so nice to hear it from that perspective as well, to see it's doing more than just being fitness or about losing weight, because that's what I feel that's the idea we have around like training
Exactly.
and like any sort of fitness, it's always, especially for women, it's always about losing weight or
But it's so much more than
there's
that.
so much more.
And that's what I found, like with our community, it's about like escaping and doing something for yourself, and it's just like building a sisterhood as well. I feel
that's what I feel like one of the biggest things your classes have done as well. Like it is a community, like and especially like having a space for Black women to come together is just huge.
That's huge. I remember hearing some of them like, oh my God, we don't have to care about our nappy hair. We can we don't have to like, and it was just like, wow, that's so true. Like we have this space for ourselves where we know we're not going to be judged. We all look the same. We all get this, like we get it, you know, and it's like it's very hard to find a space like that for us. We've never really had that growing up here, so it feels really good to have that, to
be able to like even like hold that space. Because I did I started and stopped. I just wanted to try these Pilates classes, and it was cool. Like it was actually Reham that got me into it, because I would see her stories. I'm like, this girl is like on it, you know. So there's a place local that run Pilates classes, so I went there. It was a completely different energy. Really? Like just from the music to the instructor to the people in the class. Like I felt so unmotivated while I was in the class. And it makes such a, maybe it's just me, or certain, like there's certain things that kind of get people going. But for me, I'm like, this is just not, it's not it for me. And
I went similar, like I've gone to a lot of group fitness classes in the past, and usually it's very much like loud techno music, very much like kind of a lot of older white people. It just doesn't feel like I just feel so random walking into that space. And I definitely like, and it's going to lead to like the next question I'm going to ask, but where I work as well, we do fitness classes, and it's like a school for newly arrived women, refugee background and stuff. And we do the classes like just as it's a women's only class. And you see like obviously the confidence that that space allows. Like just obviously the privacy is a big thing, but being able to like move freely without judgment, especially because I think in communities, I think we were talking to Akech about it as well, how there's like in a lot of African communities, sport and fitness isn't, well, not fitness, but I guess like group sports more so isn't really something that is done so much. So having that space to be able to like a safe community to be able to do that together is really important. But is that something you experienced at all growing up? And like, did it hinder you wanting to do this as like more of, because you've taken it into more of a career path at this point, but was that ever your experience?
That's a really interesting question. So I was really lucky that my parents were very sporty growing up, so they were really supportive of us doing sports, especially at a younger age. But my dad is very much, academics. You got to do your studies.
It's always about
So I think after I got to a certain age, which was around the time that I really started getting into taekwondo, they supported it, but they kind of, I mean, I'm one of 5, so you know we're a big family, and they were kind of just like, okay, yeah, you can do it, but like figure it out on your own sort of thing. So I remember I was working at KFC at the time, and I was working there basically to pay for my membership at Taekwondo. And then I remember we lived in Bandura, but my training was in Camberfield, so I would take public transport to get there, and it was more just I really did have to put in that work and get myself there. I mean, my parents still did as much as they could to get me there, but again, one of 5, like your situation, there's too much happening. There's too many after school activities, and it was like my one was the furthest, and so it was just
not a priority.
A priority. So I had to figure it out on my own, but it really taught me to just like make a way, and it made me appreciate it even more, because I was like, I have to work so hard for this. And it also like it shows how much I loved it, because you know most 15, 16-year-olds like would probably use
They're
that
spending
money
on
on
eating
something
or something.
else.
Probably
Yeah.
eating the macas or something.
But
You know?
I was genuinely paying off my taekwondo classes, and it was so worth it. So I think that culture also plays a part, because you know, it isn't as important like in, you know, in our cultures maybe. So so it was a little bit harder to do that, but now that I'm doing this as a career, and my dad is like done it 180. He's so supportive, and he's actually like the one pushing me behind all this, and he can just see that I'm passionate about it, and he's always been the one to see the potential in me, and so as much as he may have wanted us to all be doctors, he can really see the value in this, and he can see that it's really important in our community to have this as well. So he's like I would say he's literally my number one fan now. So
I love that.
It's
so
really good to have that support now, and I know not everyone's that lucky, and that's why it's important for us to have these spaces, because you know, it's not as I feel like a lot of ethnic parents aren't prioritizing it, and for reasons
they've
for
got
fair reasons. It actually started as well with me doing classes with my younger cousins actually. So before I even started in my garage earlier that year, I started classes at my taekwondo club, and it was more just for my younger cousins. So there was about eight of us or 10 of us, and I was starting with them because I just wanted to sort of see the vibe and see how they felt about it as well.
Were you thinking about becoming a coach?
Definitely, but I think it was just like a fear thing. It was like, let me just do this with my cousins before I go public, because it's
of course it is huge,
really really scary. So that was kind of just that was a fear move, but it was really good, because you know, it showed me that like I can do this, it's fine, and they enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and so I think for me it needed to be accessible, and that's actually why we've decided to open in Truganina, because there's nothing like it in the western suburbs. And I actually, so my taekwondo club is in Reservoir, and in the north there are a lot of female only studios like Fitnas. So I wasn't really sure about the west. I wasn't sure that we have a big community in the west, but I remember being at a wedding, and Riham came up to me, and she was like, you don't know me, but my cousin comes to your classes, and we need you in the west, like please, like seriously, you have to do it. It was almost like a threat, and I was like,
if you've met Riham, you can really like picture the type of conversation that would have been, but she got the job done. So I love her for that.
And I genuinely felt like, oh my God, and then it was interesting, like around that time there were a few people that had come up to me and said it as well. So once I started in the west, and those classes picked up a lot more, I thought, I think we really need to have something here in the west, because there's nothing like it, and there's such a big community of women that want to train amongst other women, and they just don't have a space for it.
So in the interim, what were you doing? So like, I'm trying to understand how it happened. So obviously you started off in your garage, like with your cousins and stuff, and then you were doing classes for like friends and family, I assume. In Reservoir at my taekwondo club there. I would do the late session after they finish all their taekwondo and kickboxing. I would just close the roller door and just have like a women's only class there. And I basically put it on social media and got like a little logo done and everything. So I put myself out there, and that started to pick up. And when that started to pick up, people in the West sort of probably saw it on social media.
I saw it on like, I think it was...
how did you find
someone that I knew just posted the flyer, like the post. So I was like, oh, let me check this out. Did I go by myself? I can't remember if I came by myself the first class or if I came with someone.
I thought you all signed up as like a fam.
No,
like
it was.
I think
it was me and Betty. I think.
Yeah, I think
or maybe I came.
You either came with Betty,
my sister,
your sister, or the
Betty.
other Betty.
Yeah, I came with one person, and then I think I brought Betty with me, and from there, we all just kept going. Then we all got on to doing the challenge, and then it's like word of mouth. I feel like your classes like spread like wildfire.
Oh yeah, and it was, and I'm terrible at marketing. The girls come up to me all the time and they're like, oh, this is what you need to do on your social media, and post this video and post that video, and I'm just terrible at it. But
you're getting I feel like you're posting these days. Like we're seeing the snippets.
Oh, there's pressure from everyone. But I think word of mouth is, and I think that's for me like the best kind of marketing, because it's people that genuinely have a good experience and just want to share it with the people in their lives. So I think that's been really nice to hear as well.
It's been good. Like I've been trying to pull Rahel to one of your classes, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I'm just putting you on the spot. Now that
you're here permanently,
I know. I if I was to go to a fitness class, I would go to your fitness class. It's like it's literally nothing but the fact.
What does that even mean? Like,
I'm a lazy girl.
Yeah, okay.
I just choose to accept it. But also like, because it's a bit far, Truganina. I'm like north side.
Oh really?
Well, not north. I'm north. I don't know why.
She lives in North Melbourne.
I live in North Melbourne.
Okay, well, I thought you were
She's
like Craigieburn or
side.
something. Yeah, my family's from Greenvale. So
really? So you travel all the
north.
way?
Well, so yeah, I travel a lot now, but I'm looking to move here.
Yeah.
This is like
into the west.
Yeah. I feel like I have to. It's going to be way too hard.
It's going to be
because
you'll be there every day.
Yeah, 6 days a week, and then we'll have like morning classes and evening classes.
So what are you doing to like juggle that with work? And like, what's your plan? Business wise, because is Fitnas is it a business?
Sorry. So it's set up as a company.
Okay.
And I work as a youth worker in Hurstbridge at the moment. Yeah. And I've like reduced my shifts significantly, so I'm only going to be there twice a week, and I'm a casual worker there, so I have that flexibility to reduce my shifts even more if I need to. And I think I really do enjoy my job working with youth and working with disadvantaged kids. I really enjoy that as well. But fitness is my priority at the moment, and I've been at that job for a while now. So I think it's more about, slowly turning fitness into my full-time gig. That would be ideal. So until then, it's going to be a lot of like, trying to be everywhere at once, and juggling it all. But I think it'll be fun. It's just, put my head down for a while and make it work. I think with working less, it makes it easier to be able to do the classes. And I think it's good that a lot of the times classes are after hours, so they're either really early or in the evening. So it still allows me to work here and there. So,
it's good. And it, again, like I just see it, if it's something that you're passionate about, I really feel like you kind of just put your all into it when it's something like that. So are you going to be the only person that's coaching?
For now, yes. We actually already have an Afrobeats dancing coach that's coming on board. So we're doing one class a fortnight, which isn't that much now, but hopefully in time we'll build that up. And I definitely want to build up the coaching team, because I feel like it would be nice to have different coaches on board as well, especially for PTs. If I can't do all of them, it'll be nice to have another coach as well. But I have to say, it's a little bit tricky finding coaches and looking for a coach, especially because what we have is so unique.
I know,
and I have to be very selective of who I bring on board as a coach, because I think a lot of women come to my classes because they enjoy the fact that I understand their culture and I understand their circumstances and their culture, their way that their habits, and I can understand it. And I feel like I would love to bring someone on board that can also relate to them a bit and understand it. And it's so I think that's going to be my next struggle.
Would you open it up to people that are like I don't know, like community people that want to actually get into
that.
it?
I think that's I would love that, because at the end of the day it would be nice to do it with other members of our community,
100%,
because we are serving the community. So I would love to bring someone from the community rather than just
have someone just
that'd
be but that's what's so beautiful about this space, because like I can imagine people learning about this and what you're doing, it's only probably going to inspire them to want to get into something like coaching to be able to work in an environment like what you're trying to create. So it just I feel like it kind of like
it's like a ripple
it's
effect.
a ripple
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
I
because
hope
it's like
so.
yeah.
Yeah, we already have one of the members who is interested in coaching and
Oh,
wants
really?
wants to get
Beautiful.
started. And yeah, I'm so excited
That's
about
so
that.
nice.
And I think that's great. And that tends to happen a lot when people get into it and they begin their fitness journey and they fall in love with it and they think, hey, I want to like inspire other women as well, and you know, and coach them the way that I've been coached, and you know, and just pass it
just
on.
keeps
So
going.
I'm excited for that.
I love that. We wanted to move on to asking you about the nutrition side of things.
Ooh,
and I know
okay.
you and I have had conversations about this before, but I feel like a lot of people go in and it's, like I said, it's always kind of like weight loss.
Yeah.
So we kind of have the wrong idea stepping into fitness to begin with.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, what advice could you give some people when it comes to, I guess, like the main things you have to be aware of, because it can be like an overwhelming process, you know, like going in and just trying to understand what foods you're supposed to eat, what you're not.
Yeah,
A lot of the times
I
it's like, oh,
know.
you're supposed to exercise, but then you have to be at a calorie deficit,
And that
drink
puts
water.
people- yeah, it puts people off, doesn't it? Because they think, oh, why would I start this journey if I have to do like a billion things and I have to get everything perfectly aligned?
Yeah.
And there's this perfect equation to like when it's
And you always think like one thing kind of overrides the other thing, so it
Exactly.
doesn't.
Yeah, and I think it's like when you complicate it, it makes it so much harder for people to actually jump on board and stay on board. So I just like to simplify it, because in life sometimes the solutions are actually simple, but they're just require consistency. So I think with nutrition, there's a few things to remember. Firstly, that if you're interested in weight loss, then you need to be in a calorie deficit. And some people think, oh my God, I have to count every single calorie.
Yeah.
And that can be very overwhelming, and that can actually often lead to disordered eating. So I don't recommend that as your like starting point. I recommend trying other things first, and I think just start with portion sizes. I think that's something that we can all just it's an easy thing that you can sort of control. Just reducing portion sizes. And the other big one is protein. I know you hear it all the time, like you have to have your protein, but protein is so important. And a lot of the times I find that my clients aren't getting enough protein. And if you're not getting enough protein, you're not really sustaining that muscle that you're building in the gym. You're not recovering as quick, so you can't train as much as you want to. And actually protein is supposed to make you feel more satiated. So it's supposed to fill you up more so that you actually don't overeat. So there's so many benefits of protein. And I think just that one thing, and because there's like, if you look at all your macros then and start counting your macros, that can get a bit complicated too. But if you just focus on protein, then it's less complicated. It's one thing that you can track, and you can just make sure that all your meals have a decent amount of protein in it. And then,
and what would be your the proteins that we can, because obviously there's the meats, there's like chicken. What about for people that don't eat meat?
That's a good question. So there are lots of plant proteins. There are plant protein powders that are available, and there's ones that aren't as processed. There's ones from like hemp seeds and so you can try those types of proteins, but you can also get them from chickpeas. You can lots of beans have a high amount of protein, and so there's always alternatives. And I think it's just about being like aware of what you need to get, going to the grocery store and getting it and having it ready for you, so that you don't have to make those difficult choices like on the spot. It's like, okay, like you're prepared for it, you're prepared in advance, and you have everything available, and you just need to make it rather than make those decisions last minute, like, oh my God, where am I going to get my protein from? If you're prepared,
you have to plan the
it's all there.
Yeah.
You just have to put it together. So I think planning is so important. But getting that protein is my biggest tip.
That's like the it's such a strugl
I
when
know.
it comes to meal prep.
Meal prep is so hard for me, especially like when you're living alone and I just don't want to eat the same things all the time. But when he did show me the plan, that
the app.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you find that helpful?
It was helpful because it gave me like some sort of like, sometimes it was like I just need some inspiration about what I can cook. I didn't use it all the time, but I did pick like certain things from it. It was just hard to have like 6 meals like scheduled the whole time, but it got me back into like just cooking again and like getting my mind flowing with that, because sometimes you're just like, I don't want to make pasta again, I don't want to just have like chicken and rice, you know.
It's boring. You want to change it up. So it's good. It's hard, and I think a lot of the times people think meal prep and they think they have to make the same thing and have it for 6 days, and I never do that. I think that's gross to eat the same thing for 6 days, and after the like 3rd day it's not nice, it's not fresh. So I just do 3 days at a time when I get the chance, and that way it's like it's not as bad. And then if I don't want something, I just make something else, have it the next day. Just have that flexibility. But I feel like if you go 5-6 days, it's not going to be fun. It's not.
It's like you want to enjoy eating food. I think that's what it is too. Like, I look forward to eating food, and if I'm not loving what I'm eating, or if I don't feel like like you're just like not satisfied with the meal, or you just have to eat something healthy just for the sake of it, it just deters me from actually doing it. So I think it's like having those tips is really helpful.
What do you think of and we don't even have to go like fully deep into this or anything, but just your perspective on the idea of like balance when it comes to diet, because I think like you said, it seems to be like, whenever I think of fitness, eating healthy and all these things, like it's the extreme. It's either, you know, meal prepping each week, working out, you know, 2 that's not even like a lot, 3-4 times a week. Like, how do you, like, what would be one of your what's one of your tips to maintaining like a healthy mindset when it comes to approaching health and fitness and nutrition? Because for me, like I said, I tend to like back away, because I've just been kind of like, I get triggered by all this diet culture stuff and this idea of eating healthy, because it was pushed so much onto us when we were younger, you know, in a really toxic, disgusting way. So what would you say are some of the things that like a different mindset approach?
I think that's so important to me, and I feel like I have a huge sense of responsibility being a coach, and I'm always preaching balance, because I have like a tricky background. I wouldn't say I had an eating disorder, but I would say I had disordered eating habits, and that stemmed from, with taekwondo, we compete in weight categories, so we had to make weight every time before comps, and I was on like the lightest weight, so I had to be 46 to 49 kilos for weigh-ins before fights, which is really light. And what we have is like, we have we call a walking weight, your weight when you're not competing and you're just training regularly and eating regularly, and that weight was about, at the time, like 53 or 54 kilos, so I'd have to lose quite a bit of weight, and I was already really lean then at 53 and 54 kilos, so I'd have to lose like a huge amount of weight in such a short time, and it was so unhealthy to do that over and over again. And it was really difficult to see my body go from like these two, not extremes, but just to like changing weight so quickly was so damaging for me, and it created an unhealthy relationship with food and unhealthy relationship with training, and it was extreme and it was unhealthy, but it had to be done for me to compete, because you have to have that advantage, that height advantage, so you always have to go to the lowest, which obviously is not ideal. So for me, I'm even more careful to make sure that my clients don't get into that extreme side of things, because it's very hard to undo all that, and it took me so much work to get out of those mindsets and teach myself that, you know, you can't be extreme all the time, and you can't sustain a very low body fat percentage, especially as women. We can't. Our body actually fights fat loss up to a certain point, because we require fat on our bodies to reproduce, to be able to carry a child and birth. So I think for me, it's so important that people getting into fitness just need to know that it's all about the little changes that you can make in life, and it's not about going extreme, because that's not sustainable. And we see a lot of the times on social media and what we're consuming is it looks like it's extreme all the time. It looks like in order to be fit and healthy, you have to be up at 4 a.m. training, having your green juice, having your health shot, and there's so much to it, and you think like, oh, I can't even do.
How do you have the time to do all these things?
Do all that? And it's really not like that. Like I always say to my clients, I don't track my food. I listen to my body. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm full, I stop eating. If I feel like having a piece of chocolate, I have a piece of chocolate. If I'm at a party and there's cake, I'll eat the cake. I'll eat the cake, eat the biscuit, eat the cookie, because you can still maintain a healthy body weight. You can still look healthy and feel healthy with eating those things. In fact, you have a better chance of sustaining a healthy body weight if you don't restrict as much. And I say that all the time because it's true. Every time I would lose 6, 7, 8 kilos in such a short window of time, I would gain it back within days. Within days, every single time. And every time I did it, I would gain more weight back. And I was training twice a day, 3 times a day, and eating well. So your body really does not respond well to anything extreme.
And you see this with like intermittent fasting and things like that, where people drop like crazy, but then once they're back to their normal eating habits, it just comes back on, like, you know. But I think there's also this like idea that it is about changing the mindset, because a lot of the times we're programmed to want to see the scales go down. I even remember when I did your classes and I gained so much muscle and I was feeling stronger and everything, but my weight actually didn't change that much. But then when you were doing measurements, you were showing me like how this has changed and this. And I think it just comes down to education. Like a lot of, especially women, like we're not exposed to this kind of information. We don't know. All we see is kind of like either what we're forced to see on social media or whatever, or what we're told, you know. And I don't think we have the knowledge all the time to really be out here like seeking that kind of knowledge. So it's important to, I guess, spread that message, but it's really hard. It's really hard to like.
Exactly. And it's like I get a lot of clients that are just like, oh, I'm training so hard, like I feel so good, I'm eating healthier, but like the scale's not moving. And I'm just like, throw the scale away. If you're training hard and you've never like lifted weights before and you're lifting weights, of course you're going to build muscle, and that's going to reflect on the scale. The scale's not going to tell you, I mean, unless you have that scale that tells you body fat percentage, like it's not going to tell you, oh, this part's water, this part's fat, you know. So it's just, I think it's about getting rid of those like these old habits and that mentality that I just have to be lighter on the scale, and just understanding that it's a process and it's a long-term process. I think a lot of coaches and trainers are just, they push this idea of like quick results and quick fat loss, and I just refuse to do that, because I want what's best for my clients in the long run. And I know in the long run it's not going to benefit them at all to lose this amount of weight really, really quickly in an unhealthy way, because they're going to gain it back. And not only are they going to gain the weight back, but they're going to gain some kind of unhealthy eating habits, or just unhealthy habits in general from that. And I think there's so much more value in looking at the long term and looking at your health overall, rather than just losing weight quickly. I mean, you can do it. I can tell someone how to lose 10 kilos in 1 month, because I've had to do that for carbs. But I'll tell them how to do it. But I'll say, and this is what will happen after it. You'll feel horrible throughout it. You'll probably gain it back just as quick. You'll probably gain even more back, because your body will just be just like, what happens is it's more like a psychological thing. So your body actually, what would happen to me from extreme dieting for taekwondo is after I would compete, I'd finish, and I can just eat what I want now. I would be hungry all the time. I would eat a massive meal, and be starving. And it was a psychological thing. It's like your body's just like, it was starved for so long that it's just like, it's more of a psychological thing. It's like I just want more because I don't know when she's going to start me next. And,
so is this how people get into like binge eating and all of that?
Yeah, that's how it happens. And I remember I'd have to put in so much work to stop that from happening, because obviously I'm competing as well. I can't add an eating disorder to that.
Of course.
So I was seeing a dietitian and a psychologist and working through it and just finding a way to still be able to do my sport and not have a full-blown eating disorder. So it's it's really, really unhealthy to do that, to like be extreme in any way, because the psychological effects are horrible and actually really hard to reverse. So
I can imagine.
I'm always telling my clients to just think long term and be patient, play the long game. I always say that, play the long game. Even if we do a 6-week challenge, we go hard for those 6 weeks, but we do it in a healthy way, and then we stay on after. That's the important thing.
It's such an important message, because like I said, I think that we were told growing up continuously from so many different outlets, from our parents even, but that was just like from information that they received themselves, but from media, from celebrity culture, from everything, from diet culture, obviously, these really like severely like these extreme and they were so normalized, and I think that's like because the goal, and now it's changing into like wellness and all of these like
it's like branded,
and it's just rebranded, you know what I mean? But like places like Weight Watchers and stuff. It's just it was something that was shoved down our throats. So it's like really refreshing to and it's great to hear you like acknowledge that in your own practice and everything, especially working with women, because we bear the brunts.
Thank you. That it means so much to me to be able to do that, because obviously from my personal experiences as well. So it's like I don't want anyone to have to go through that, and I just I have to do my part in undoing whatever toxic information we've been fed growing up.
What are some tips, some quick tips that you can give people that are wanting to get into fitness? And just like, beginners, don't know what they're doing.
I think just get up and try it and go to a class, because I think the hardest part is getting there. And I think people think, oh my God, I'm going to be judged. I'm not fit now. So how can I go to a class? Like I'm going to pass out, and I'm going to be like, I'm not going to be fit. Everyone's going to be fitter than me. And I get that a lot actually from people before they come to the class, and just do it, because like getting there is the hardest part. Once you're there, like everything will just flow, and you'll figure it out. You might like that class, you might not, but at least you've put the effort in to go there, because going there is the hardest part. And just I know there's a lot of anxiety that comes with it, but just pushing past that and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is really important. And if you're not into group classes, you're not into training with other people, you can still do so much on your own. Just start with walks, start with going out for a walk. The weather's getting better now, so and it really helps to have like someone with you, because I think it can get boring. I mean, or put the podcast on, and go for a walk. I do that all the time, and I think just something like that, people underestimate that. Again, they think they have to go to the gym like 6 days a week to get into fitness or start their fitness journey, but honestly, just going for a walk a day or walk every second day is a great place to start, and it can do wonders for your physical health and mental health. And then pick it up from there. Just start eating better. Just think of your body as like as a vessel, and think of food as fuel rather than as like something that's either good or bad. Like stop labeling everything, and treat your body like, like what's gonna make me function really good today, what's gonna make me feel good today, what's gonna make me like sleep better tonight. All these things that are like, don't focus on like what's gonna make me look good, like the outside, take the focus off like how you look and bring it inwards. And I think when you start looking at like training and food from the perspective of how is it going to make me feel, I think you're much kinder to your body, and it's easier to make those decisions. It's not like because when it's about how you look, if you're not getting the results straight away, you're just like, stuff it, I'm not going to do this. But if it's about how you feel, or how you sleep, you can measure that on a daily basis. So I think you can sustain that a lot longer. So I think just start, and if you can bring someone along with you, do it with someone. I think that really helps as well. And just don't go extreme. Don't think that you have to be doing everything perfectly straight away and sustaining that in order to be on your fitness journey, to begin your fitness journey. Just understand that it's just the little things that make a world of a difference. And I have so many women that train consistently 2 or 3 times a week now, and they just started by just coming to a session, and they'd never trained before in their life, never thought that they were a fitness girly. Rahel, I'm looking at you. You don't have to be that sporty girl into, you might like one of the, you might just like the dance classes, you might just like, the cardio classes, you might just like the boxing classes, you might really just love smashing a bag out and just, so you never know what you'll like unless you try. So just give it a go.
That was said so beautifully and so well. You said that. Honestly, I think like one thing that I'm getting as well is that it is a long game, and a lot of us need to kind of, I think when it becomes a long game, it's like you actually naturally build a habit and you start to love the process. And even just speaking from experience with your classes, it's not even me promoting your classes, but I just remember enjoying it, and also just feeling good about myself, and you know what I mean, everything was like I actually want to do this for myself, rather than it's like a drag or something that I'm forcing myself to do. So I think those are really good tips. Really amazing tips. I think we'll wrap it up here with this episode, but thank you so much, Amina, for jumping on. Thank you so much
for having me, guys. It's been so fun. I genuinely appreciate it. I've loved it.
We're just so proud of you, and I really want to see, like, I really hope you have like a information session on like nutrition and fitness, because I feel like it will go, like a lot of people will come to that.
Thank you. That's definitely in the plans. I'm working on that. And I would love to do that.
Take your time, of course, as well. Like let's one step at a time. We've already got your studio and everything.
But I would love to. I've had a lot of people asking for that, and I think it would be really useful for everyone.
I think people just need to, like, it's information. If people knew what was, the right way and what was healthy for them, I think they would do that. Just because we don't have access to, I mean, we have access, but we just don't know where to start.
Exactly, because there's so much out there. There's the keto, there's this, there's that, and it's like, what is right good for me?
I remember I was doing weird toxic like TikTok body cleansers, like to lose weight. It was like lemon and coffee, or no, it was something like, it was so crazy. I was doing a lot. I was doing a lot at one point, because I'm like, I really want to just like, as well. In the morning. Like, I don't know what I was drinking. I did it a couple times.
But how do you know, like, what to filter out and what to keep?
That's what I'm saying. We need access to this information, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and congratulations again on the studio. Where can people find your more information about your studio and your classes, and just information about you?
So they can just go to my Instagram, which is fitnas.pgt. So there they can reach out. I also have my personal page, which is Amina_Naser, and they can just reach out, message, DM, and they'll see lots of stuff on the page as well. So if they want to get an idea of what we do, there's a lot on the page that they can see as well. So
okay, amazing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye. See ya.